3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Oh, yes, I love dancing to that tune behind the scenes. It is the Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Dennis and Andy Show. I'm sick of introductions. You should know who we are by now. I'm Dennis.
Yes, you are not.
I'm Andy.
The good-looking one is Dennis.
The one with the hair is Dennis. The striking bald man is Andy.
You can tell by the shirt.
That's right. So I have a ball cap on.
Andy.
Yeah, we're just on the wrong side here.
As usual.
As usual. We're on the wrong side of everything. What? Except how we roll.
Now that Andy's done dancing, it's Wednesday. So what do we do on Wednesday?
It's what did the boys get?
What did the boys get? It's Wednesday New Comics. And it was a pretty good week this week.
It was a pretty good week for Dennis. For me, it was.
Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah, Dennis is the one that really goes. So let's see what the boys got this week. We'll dive right in. This is an Andy book. I got Detective because, yeah, I'll be honest, I don't care about all this Infinite Frontier BS that DC's doing. I follow artists. I'm a big fan of Dan Moore's work. I discovered him when he did that book Klaus for Boom Studios with Grant Morrison, I believe, a different take on Santa Claus. From there, I bought some of his Power Ranger stuff. Now he's at the DC doing some Batman, and I love Dan's work, so I'm buying it. I hope the story's good.
Yeah, and you all know I've given up on most of the DC titles right now. Every once in a while, they bring me back in.
Dennis book,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. It's been solid.
So there you go.
It's been solid. Can't wait to see what it's all about.
This is one Dennis and I both got. This is the first full issue showing Spider-Man in his new costume. This is the cover Dennis picked up. I actually picked up the cover that has him spotlighted in his costume. It's just him on the cover.
We're going to be reviewing 61. So we'll touch on this.
That's right.
So
61 is where the costume really debuted.
Right, but we've got it here in case we decide to delve into this a little bit.
That's right. We're originalists. So issue 61 and the Constitution.
That's right.
That's right. Tarna.
Number 4. So for those of you who didn't know, we actually did a review on The Last Terrakian. Yeah, I'm liking the series, and he asked me right out, are you going to keep picking it up? I'm like, as long as they're putting it out, I'm going to be picking this one up. I think they kind of landed. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's been enjoyable.
I get the issues that show her boobies, so Dennis will let me know.
So that means he'll be borrowing all of my issues.
That's right. Coming back, Sticky.
Now, we had a screw up. Well, not we did. But it didn't get sent out. It was supposed to be out last week, and it never showed up. So this is quite interesting. What I think I'll wind up doing is I'm going to probably wind up doing a quick flip because I did get it in hand, everybody. And it's not color. I'm just going to flip open one page. But the artwork looks incredible.
Keep it there.
You're going to full screen it? You're going to full screen it?
There it is.
Take a peek at that.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, and I actually am interested in Vietnam War stuff, so I'll be reading that, and we could also do a little review on it.
I think so. I did love in the intro it says, because Behemoth puts it out, this is a work of fiction unless otherwise indicated. All names, characters, businesses, places, events, and incidents in this book are either the product of the author's imagination or used in a fictional manner. Any resemblance to actual persons is purely coincidental. All hail Behemoth. It says that. Love that. Absolutely love that. But the art is incredibly detailed, the pencils and the ink. So you know, I really am. I took a chance on this because there were no, even in previews, it just had the cover. You could read a little bit about the story, but there were like no insides. So I took a shot on this, and I'm thinking it might have been a pretty decent shot in my mind.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to actually reading that one. So that's cool. Let me get my mouse back over where it belongs. Damn it, I always lose it.
It does. It
Make
just
this mouse a
disappears.
different color. Blade Runner Origins.
Blade Runner's been pretty decent. I think it'll be soon now. I have done some shorts and on the Blade Runner Origins, and I've gotten a bunch of responses, and people are asking for some reviews on it. So I think we're going to add that to the list for reviewing.
Nice. Alien, I'll be honest, I thought about it and then I passed because I figured, you know what, I could just watch the movie, and it's hard. It's easier for me to see something as a comic book first and then go to a movie than the other way around. And I like Predator more than I like Alien anyhow, so when they do Predator, I'll probably get that. So yeah.
Yeah, I am taking a chance on it. I, of course, picked it up, and it looks, here's the thing, it looks pretty decent. I did a quick flip through at the shop, but it's Marvel. And I don't say that with normally disdain, but on these type of licenses, sometimes it just doesn't get the due it's deserved. I'm hopeful that this is going to be better. It'll probably be one I do a quick flip on for you guys to see. The art looks good. I'm going to be interested to see where the story goes.
No, Salvador LaRocca is a solid artist.
Right.
My dude's been at Marvel for 25 years now. He's solid. So, and Philip Kennedy Johnson, he's actually a friend of mine. He's a great writer. It's just, I don't, you know, Alien,
And I like him.
Cable, another Dennis book. You know, I heard this getting canned.
Oh, is it official? I heard that the sales weren't so hot, and you know, ever since they went through the change and made them young, so there are too many X books out there right now. So I'm spending too much money on X books because honestly, they're doing. I feel like I'm doing a Scooby-Doo ending, going back to the 90s. Way too many X books, and there just doesn't need to be that many. And I love X-Men.
Is this the Adventures of Soy Boy Cable?
Oh, he's not as bad, but it's not the older
Cable, the Woketh Awakened.
He's not as bad, but Dune, House and Atreides. Again, I've gotten some responses that people kind of want to know where it is, so I'll probably be doing a quick flip on this. And I may wind up doing a review on the series to date and just kind of give it. Again, this is what I've been kind of holding off on because I hate just to judge everything that I know is going to be a longer series by immediately what they did. I read the first one and I don't really want to get into it, and I've been holding off, but this is 5, and I think this is where the arc's going to probably stop. So anyway, I'll probably start talking about it.
I'm looking forward to the movie. Have they said when that's supposed to come out now?
Well, you know what? While you're pulling it up.
So Excalibur, another Dennis book. You know, it's an X book. Honestly, I like Excalibur, but if you want me to buy Excalibur, I need to see Brian Braddock as Captain Britain. Damn it. I would buy Excalibur if Brian Braddock was back as Captain Britain in the costume he was wearing when Excalibur first came out in the late 80s, early 90s. That is what I'd be buying. I just don't have an interest in, you know, this.
Yeah, it hasn't been bad. It's been an interesting take on what they did. Dune is slated right now for October. So,
God. And then, you know, tangent, but Black Widow got pushed to July 9th. 2 months, May, June, June.
Oh, good.
2 months, it's pushed back, and now they're saying it's coming out. Well, Courtney, my daughter, who did the intro, actually told me that on Disney Plus, it's coming out on Disney Plus Premiere. So I think that's like a different thing. Like, I don't know. So I don't know if we'd even be able to watch. I mean, I'm going to see it in theaters regardless, or the made-up word irregardless.
No, it's now an official word. It has now been put in the dictionary officially this last year, to the chagrin of my wife, who hates that word. But now I can legally use that word.
I hate that word.
Now this is interesting. So I was flipping through. I was actually flipping through the previews, and they listed something called Magic, and I was like, oh, but it didn't have any fonts or anything on it. And I was like, well, that looks kind of cool. And I flipped open, you know, they had a little bit of the inside art, and I looked at it, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. And it's just a little brief thing talking about planescaping, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, I happened to mention, I says, I'm going to take a chance on this. And he goes, oh, we got one out today. It's the same cover. So yeah, so that is what you're seeing on the big screen was on the number one that should be coming out. But he goes, I've got this, and it didn't even ring out. It's an ash can. So it's officially labeled as an ash can on the back, although typically ash cans were smaller versions. It just doesn't have the complete issue.
No, but it's in full color. It's the same size as a comic book. So, I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pop up one quick page. I'm probably going to wind up doing a quick flip on this one. I've got a lot of videos to do. The art looks really solid in it, but this is actually Magic, as in like Magic the Gathering. I used to play. I don't play anymore. I'm going to be curious because I sometimes will pick up a Magic series and other times I've skipped it. This looks really good, so I am going to give this a read. And number one should be coming out in a few weeks, so I'll probably put that up for you guys to look at. And then if you like it, make sure you let your local shops know so you can get your hands on it.
That's right.
Yeah,
get your hands on it. So that's it. That is the books. And then there's a book actually I got fulfilled from a campaign I backed, and I honestly can't remember if it was Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I've been doing a lot of Indiegogo, but I don't know. But it's called Minx Cyberpunk. Right there. That's it. It's pretty cool. I like the art. That's why I got it. I bought it. Got it in the mail yesterday. It came with a bunch of came with a magnet and die-cut stickers and a couple trading cards. So I'm letting Dennis borrow it to read. He'll probably do a quick flip video, short video for YouTube, so you guys can see what the inside of it looks like.
It's called Minx Cyberpunk, and I think you all know by now I do like cyberpunk stuff. So that really intrigues me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. This is one that totally went over my radar. I didn't see it, and for whatever reason, Andy and I didn't really talk about that particular one, so I never got in on it. So I'll be curious. I may wind up digging it up somewhere.
And then something came in the mail that would not fit in my mailbox.
Oh, what's that, Andy?
Oh, my Jim Lee X-Men Artist Edition came. Will we be going through it tonight? No. No, we won't. You're going to have to wait.
It takes too long.
It takes too long. We will do a flip through video of it, and maybe next week we'll go through it on Wednesday night, put the camera right over top of it, and do a little discussion next week on it.
Yeah, I ordered mine. I am very excited. Andy's got his in hand, so very excited. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, it's one of those X-Men ones I'm just probably going to have to pick up.
I have enough of these artist editions to start building walls. If I ever need extra walls, I can just use the boxes.
You could make a wall right here between them.
You know, I actually thought it would be cool. See, Dennis is joking, but what you can't see off camera, to Dennis's left, I have a bookshelf that separates like the computer area we're at and my actual drawing table. But you know the fake walls they have in offices and stuff, the partitions or whatever?
Yes.
If I could find one of those cheap, a part of me would like to put one right there, but then I just don't know how closed off I'd feel, you know, not being able to, when I'm at my desk.
You know what you do? You put the partition there, and then you put a little shelf on the wall like that wide, just so you can take all of your artist editions and you stand them up, and they're literally are your wall.
That's, yeah, there you go.
See, I feel a project coming up.
I feel a project for Dennis. So today we spent the day, Dennis came over to help out, packaging up First Man, my graphic novel that was on Indiegogo and successfully funded. It is still on in demand. So if you missed out, you can still buy it. I, of course, will do a little pimping right now and share the screen so you guys can see it. Like I said, the good news is it's on in demand, and I am, we are fulfilling, and I say we because Dennis is really helping me out, and I really appreciate it. It's not an easy job to do, to fulfill a campaign.
So how many have you got out so far, Andy?
So I've gotten 212 of these babies in the mail. And the nice part about that is you're going, well, that sounds pretty cool. The nice part is, if you scroll down, it says estimated shipping April. What month is it?
Gee, I think it's still March.
It is still March. People are going to start receiving their First Man graphic novels before April. I aim to please. So if you haven't got it yet, it's a 64-page graphic novel, story of Luke Henry, college kid, gets imbued with this great power. Little does he know, the power doesn't belong to him, and this big guy right here, Monarch, is coming to collect. Penumbra has a special tie to the power that inhabits Luke Henry. It's kind of a Shazam vibe. Like I said, 64 pages. The book, I think, came out great. It's heavy. It's weighty. You feel the weight of it. I'm very, very pleased with how it came out. And, I think you guys should back it and support it.
I already got to read it.
Yeah, Dennis was a backer, and, which is nice. Once again, all seriousness, he's a good friend of mine, but he backed it when he knows I probably would have been like, here, have one. But no, he put money in my pocket.
I did. And then I read it, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's very well done. The quality, again, the construction, how heavy it is, fantastic. Yep, and as we're putting them in backing boards, and yeah. So I finished reading it. I liked the story a lot, and it's got a really cool little ending. So make sure you read it all the way to the last page.
That's right. It's a 64-page book. And I'm very proud of my baby. And I'm a 30-year comic veteran. The only reason I'm saying that is because a couple of my friends that have shows always, and I forgot to start, always start their show with, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I'm a this many year comic veteran. And the thing is that I've been doing it longer than those couple guys have, but their channels are way more successful. So I'm thinking if I drop that, maybe our channel will blow up.
So I think Andy's been doing it since what, comics were a nickel?
Yeah, well, 12 cents. 12 cents.
Okay.
So our first comic review is going to be The BeQuest.
Yes.
This is The BeQuest. This is a new book from Aftershock Comics. It is written by Tim Seeley, who is also, by the way, little known fact, editor-in-chief of Heavy Metal, and drawn by an artist I had the pleasure to meet last year before cons were shut down, Freddie E. Williams II. I really like Freddie's work. I've known it for a while, but I really got into it when he was doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman, and then he did one of my favorite franchises, He-Man and Justice League. I was like, damn it, you got to draw that. So when I saw this in previews, I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot just from the artwork side.
And what I find very interesting is Andy and I, you can tell, we don't have, when it comes to comic books, we do like some similar things, but we've got very diverging, types of comic books. We both saw the previews on it, and Andy goes, oh, I'm picking that up. And I'm like, dude, check this one out. He goes, oh, I already put it on the list. Yeah. We both actually were very excited for different reasons, but we both were very excited that this book came out.
Well, do your job. Tell them a little bit about the story, and then I'll talk art. That's how we split things here. Dennis is more the righty guy. I'm the art guy. So you can talk about the story, And if you miss anything, I'll pop in. But
yeah, so one of the things that I liked right away is it starts in Chicago. So you're dealing with
the Bears.
Well, the Bears, so or the White Sox, or
true.
the Cubs,
all right,
or the Bulls.
I get it.
Okay, so the interesting thing is it starts off in our universe, our dimension, basically.
Yeah, it starts on Earth, present day.
Right, and then it winds up switching into another storyline where you meet other characters and they're going through stuff. So I'm going to throw something. Some of you guys might be role players, but there's actually something called Earth Dawn. And this book reminds me very much of Earth Dawn, where in the world of Earth Dawn, which is similar to this, it's the world of magic. And then as magic dissipates, the technology comes up and overtakes it. And then eventually, it winds up being where technology winds up falling down and magic takes its place. Well, you're dealing with two different universes in here. One of them is technologically advanced, which is where our universe comes from. And the other one is what we call sword and boards, so it's fantasy. Magic users, swords, clerics, that type of stuff. And they're wind up dealing with dragons and, creatures of in the fantasy world. But all of a sudden, people start coming in with modern day weapons, with big caliber guns and stuff like this, military equipment. And it's all I'm going to say is it really starts winding in as you're melding two worlds, because there's kind of a breach between two different types of universes. Each has their strengths and weaknesses, but one person was set over on the other side in order to make sure that these breaches don't get out of hand. And of course, it winds up there's dragons and there's foul creatures. So anyway, it's an interesting concept because this is something very similar to something that we kind of wanted to do years ago and D&D, but we kind of wanted to wait till we were done with our existing campaign. This is very similar to our concept. I love it. I love the melding of two worlds, and they do it in a very thoughtful way. Now, the art got me, and that's why I'll let Andy talk about this.
Freddie Williams is just a real solid comic book artist. He has really nice storytelling. It's easy to follow, but he plays with his layouts, which I always enjoy. You see some artists that try and do funky layouts, and the storytelling is just hard to follow, and that's a no-no. If you do a funky layout and can't tell the story smoothly, then just go back to simple layouts. But Freddie can mix up his layouts and do cool stuff like this. His characters all have, different characteristics. They all look different, which is nice. They're not just cardboard cutouts. Like I said, his storytelling is dynamic. He chooses nice camera angles. You get the big stuff like this when it introduces a character. Of course, his double page spread. He just moves the camera around from a standard eye level, down shots, low, looking up at a character. It pulls you into the story. So I really like Freddie's stuff. He does great design stuff, like this dragon is really cool.
Love the red dragon.
I mean, trust me, when you're an artist, you get the script that basically says, every writer's different, but some writers might just be like, oh yeah, just make up a dragon, Lord of the Rings type. And you're just like, oh, okay. And then some writers really go into elaborate detail. I don't know what Tim Seeley's script looked like, but either way, Freddie did a great job creating this new world. And that's the thing. It's one thing to go, hey, draw an issue of Superman. You got a lot of stuff to look back on. But when you're just creating a book from scratch, it's all on, the creative team, the artist, and the writer, and more the artist to bring the visuals of this world to life and really sell it. And I think Freddie did a great job. So, I'm looking forward to issue 2. That dude, gnarly no eye. I'm looking forward to issue 2 and to see where this goes. We always do our CGC rating, and CGC's the comic book grading company that does the scale from what 0.1 to or 0.5 is the lowest
to 10.0,
0.5
the
to
unicorn.
10.0. You know, I've had my wife CGC grade me, and she gave me an 11, and I said, "Sweetie, the highest you can go is 10," but I appreciate it.
But Oz go to 11.
But Oz go to 11. So so I thought that was really nice of her. But anyhow, you know, I'm giving this out of the gate. I'll go a strong 9.0 on it. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's a limited series or an ongoing, or if it's going to be just like, you know, 4 to 6 issues and then a couple-month hiatus, and then they come back with a volume 2. I'm not exactly sure. I honestly don't care because I'm looking for different stuff to read. And this is definitely going to be a monthly thing that I get. So I'll go 9.0. Dennis.
I'm pretty close, actually. I think we're going to be pretty close to agreement. I thought the storytelling was enjoyable, thoughtful. I thought the art was absolutely fantastic. The melding of the two worlds fit really well together. I didn't think there was very few things that I was confused about going into it. I think this is a hit. I really hope this continues. I'm giving it a 9.2 and telling you to add it to your pull list on Wednesdays.
So add it to your pull.
Speaking of adding to pull, before we get into the next book, Berserker. Did you guys hear the news about Berserker today?
No.
We kind of touched it on when we were fulfilling Andy's books. We did a quick little a live short to see us working. We kind of mentioned it. Berserker got picked up by Netflix.
Yes, it did.
When we did our review, we said this would be set up very well for either a movie or a TV show, just the way that they had set it up. We both enjoyed the heck out of that first issue, and Netflix went ahead with it. So I'm very excited.
Keanu, of course, is going to be starring as the main character, as he looks like in the book. It's going to be an animated cartoon as well. So that's pretty cool. I hope he does the voice. Hopefully, you know, things like this could take time, but since Netflix announced it, I'm hoping that a year from now we see Berserker on Netflix. I know Jupiter's Legacy drops in the next couple months, which is the Mark Millar book that he created with Frank Quietly. And that's been in production for a couple years. I think COVID slowed it down. If it wasn't for that, it might have come out earlier. Point is, hopefully a year from now, we'll see Berserker on Netflix. I think it looks great. I'm so happy for my buddy Ron Garney that's drawing the book. I think this is going to be awesome for him. I'm jealous. He'll get to go on set probably. He's already said how he's gotten his Zoom call with Keanu. And after the first shock of being like, I'm literally talking to Keanu Reeves, he's just like, yeah, it's just like talking to another dude. He's just like, hey, what's up, Keanu? What's up, Ron?
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I guess the difference is I'd be like, what's up, Keanu? He'd be like, what's up, Andy? I'd go, it's COVID, man. You got a mill? Just a mill I could borrow. I'll get it back to you.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, Keanu. He'd be like, woo, hey, Andy.
and honestly, I wouldn't ask him for a mill. That's overreach. I'd ask him for like $850,000. I think that's.
And then you'll never hear from him.
That's a little more appropriate.
Yeah.
All right. So our next review.
So we teased it a little bit coming up. We all knew we did I did a YouTube short and popped a quick preview flip and had a bunch of comments on it. Some were very positive, some were not. So let's kind of delve into it, I guess.
New costume, new job, new spider era begins here. I will say I like the cover that Patrick Gleason did. I like Pat's art too. Probably won't review a lot of books I don't like the art. No, maybe we will. I don't know. But I like Pat's art. I like the design he did on this with splitting it down the middle this way. You know, we've all seen the covers that split down the middle to show, you know, the two sides of a character. I thought this was pretty cool doing it this way where, you know, of course this is an exaggerated twist, but that's what makes it work. You see the new half here, the old half here. I just realized this background. Does that kind of remind you of, and I'll probably pronounce this wrong, that Aurora Borealis? Yeah. It does remind you of that, doesn't it?
Yep. If it had a little more like purple to it or something. But yeah,
so anyhow, I mean, that's not a knock.
vibe.
I just literally I read this 2 weeks ago and it came out, and now I'm seeing this. So you know, we talked about the new costume when it was solicited a couple months ago, and you know, I'm not a huge fan of it. To me, if you're going to design a new costume for Spider-Man, you would stick with at least blue and red because those are his colors. And I think that if you just use those colors and the big eyes, you could do almost anything and people will go, oh, it's Spider-Man. Whereas with this, my thought was, you know, Spider-Man is definitely, I think, Marvel's top character or right near the top. And I just thought that if you showed this new costume to somebody and said, who is it? They might go, oh, it looks like another company is trying to do their version of Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, so it doesn't look like Marvel Spider-Man. But then we read the book, or yeah, I mean, we both read it, not together. I mean,
No.
I asked him to read it to me as a bedtime story, and he said
But
no.
he fell asleep right away. So yeah,
well, I did.
just surprised.
I was spent.
Yeah.
So story-wise, he does. He gets this job of basically being I guess you'd say he's an influencer. You know, he's a social media influencer, and the company that hired him, because Peter Parker really wasn't up on it, and he was and then they were like, but we'll pay you this much, if I remember correctly. And he was like, oh, really? And I like that because I'm like that too. We'd like you to draw this. Yeah, I don't want to, but we'll pay you this much. I would love to draw that.
Right. So here's you see a little bit with Kingpin. So here's the thing that I liked about the book. I'm right there with Andy. I'm not overly particularly fond of the new costume. I'm just not. And I was like, why are you changing up the costume? Here's the good news. When I hopped in the books, I haven't been reading Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one that I'll read and then I'll drop it and then I'll pick up something cool and then I'll drop it. It's not like my X-Men books. Now, with that being said, I was able to pick up this book after so long and I was able to go, okay, what's going on? Oh, something happened. Kingpin's doing this. He's doing this town. He's trying to work this. Peter's now working on, you know, this, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's social media. Well, here's a new suit and it does all these really cool things. Here's a plausible reason for you to change the suit into doing this so that people can watch you live.
And that was the whole thing with it that I get, you know, and here he is being introduced to the suit, and I don't even think he's too fond of it. But like Dennis said, it can live stream with the cameras that are kind of in his goggles. So when he's fighting, you can be in the fight with Spider-Man. And, you know, people can comment, like when he's fighting, they can be like, hey man, do a you know, roundhouse kick, you know, whatever, shoot him with your webs. So, and you know, it's a corporate thing. You know, corporate made the suit. If you want the paycheck, you wear the suit. So he does. So, you know, is the suit going to stay around forever? I doubt it. You know, is it obviously a gimmick to sell books? Of course it is. Why they saved the design cover, I guess you could say, for issue 62 when the suit actually debuts in 61, I'm not really clear. I could get it if at the end of 61 was the first time you saw him wearing the suit. But I mean, as you can see here, he's fighting in it. He's doing stuff in the suit. I mean, the suit technically debuts in this book.
Right.
So if for some shit reason 62 actually blows up in price, I'm going to look at it like Hulk 181, which is like, Hulk 180 showed a last panel on the last page of a full figure shot of Wolverine, but you're charging me that much for 181? I always was confused by that. Still don't agree with it. But, you know, I thought this, you know, like the cover says, new job, new costume, new era for Spider-Man. I'll give it a try because, like I said, I like Pat's art. I did like this story.
They presented it in a way where you can jump on. And I guess that is the important thing. If you want to give this new spider suit a try, which means everything that deals with it, you know what? You don't have to go back and read everything. You can at least get the gist of it by reading this. I think they accomplished with what they set out to do, and that may be able to bring some readers back in.
The suit even projects stuff up like this undies, so it has like advertising it can do.
I really was hoping it was going to say "Eat at Joe's."
That's right. So it's all, there's a reason behind it. I like it, So I'll keep getting it. My CGC on this bad boy, I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
I thought it was interesting how they did it. I'm going to show this. I'll have you blow this up.
Well, wait, and then here, here's a nice glory shot of them. Still, when I first look at it, I think, what company's doing a Spider-Man knockoff? Because honestly, if this was drawn for any other company, because of the difference in color and everything, I don't think Marvel would have a leg to stand on to go after that.
Yeah, the issue I have, with this particular, color, and we kind of talked about it, if he's swinging through like your typical Spider-Man through the city, going thwip thwip, and he's swinging between buildings and going on, that color scheme is just going to look like he's part of the building. Maybe that's what they're going for. There's nothing that stands out. There's nothing that looks to me super exciting. I really don't like the costume. It might be temporary, and it may
I'm sure it's temporary.
But
probably see an action figure out of
the story was fine. I enjoyed, the story. There was nothing super exciting, but it made sense.
It's a good lead-in. It would have been, honestly, glad they didn't do it. It starts with 61. So it is like a number 1 because it's 61. Here we go, starting over. And I'm glad that they didn't start with a new number 1.
Yes, at least continue the current numbering. I'm giving it a 6.5. I thought it was a fine book. I obviously picked up 62, and I'm going to show you. They had one really interesting thing in here, and that's when he's going in there, and I'll probably do a quick flip of 62, but you can see that suit, and it looks like it is. It's almost like a night mode, and I actually like that, and maybe it's because it's closer to the original black suit. I don't know, but it's the same styling, but I really did kind of like that, so I'll be interested to see. But that first one, I'm giving a 6.5. I'll pick up a couple to see if it's going to keep me interested or if I'll put it on the shelf. So it was good enough where I'll give it a shot and see if I like 62 to make it. And legacy numbering right now, that is technically issue 863.
Oof. That's cool. I wish it actually was 863.
I know. I kind of do too.
Ruined it when they did all that garbage with the numbering.
All right. So because this is Wednesday, that means Tuesday night was
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. So let's talk about Tuesdays, the 5th episode of the season, and apparently the last one for a short break.
Till May 18th. It's not coming back till May 18th, which I'm assuming means they're popping Supergirl on that slot. I don't know what they're doing. Actually, I take that back because I think Supergirl's a Sunday night show.
Yeah.
Still. So I don't know what they're doing, but it's going on hiatus until, when they said May 18th, I got to admit, my jaw hit the floor because I can see like the whole month of April, like a 4-week thing. Because a few shows have gone on well, actually, it's funny. So a few shows I watch, it's already been a couple of weeks, but they've gone on winter break, which is hysterical because it's like, call it spring break. And they're basically coming back 4 weeks later. So Superman and Lois will come back May 18th. Okay, a little bit of shock. But episode 5 in. I think each episode, I think the storyline and the episodes are just growing and doing a nice upward swing. We got a little more background on some extra characters in the show, if you will. It was all about oh my God, what was the name of the festival?
It was like the Harvest Fest.
The Harvest
it was like
Fest. It was the
Smallville's
Harvest Fest. Smallville Harvest Fest. It's a yearly thing. Martha Kent was always kind of a big hit at it, I guess. It's like a carnival. Jordan, the son with the powers, was kind of going on a date. Jonathan was hanging out, the other son was hanging out with some of his friends, drinking out of a flask. What? You high school student? Who would drink in high school? That is a no-no. And I say that because I have a high school age child. No, no, no. But I did. So, it was another good episode. Go into some of the stuff.
So one of the things that I'll say is we've been talking about how each week it's just another good episode and it's slowly building. It gets a little bit better each week, and it started out really decent. Yeah. So I mean, this isn't like it's actually a pretty high bar to continue on. The different storylines.
You know what it's not like? It's not like, what's that show I'm thinking of? Oh, Sweet Home, that started off really slow and agonizing. And then kind of got better.
And then knocked it out of the ballpark.
And then kind of got better.
You mean like Fortitude, which started out slow and boring and ended slow and boring. Yes. Or Green Lantern.
Oh my God! Oh God! The Green Lantern cartoon was good. What are you talking about?
Cartoon is great, and I love Ryan Reynolds.
I do too. He's a hunk of a man.
But there's a reason why the show, number one, it doesn't really dive into any of the SJW stuff. They're good, solid stories that are dealing with family and community and what's happening. And again, we talked about it straight from episode 1. The boys got their storyline. Lois has her storyline. Yep. Clark's got his storyline. Yep. You've got the storyline dealing with the town. And each week, they touch on each of those and progress each storyline a little further. It is just very good writing. And every week, this week they did flashbacks to when Clark was a teenager and dealing with some of the same strenuous issues that his son's dealing with. And Lois is upset and she's expecting Clark to be really mad, and he's very pulled back. And she's like, what? All he can say is he's dealt with it, and you now know why. And it was well done.
In the flashbacks, they cast a great actor, I think, to play the teenage Clark. I thought he was really good. Clark's like, I think I just need to get out of here, leave Smallville. And his mom's like, what? And, Jonathan, the non-powered son, basically is like, well, what if I go, my girlfriend just dumped me over the phone. What if I go back? I can live with my buddy in Metropolis. And of course, I did love this. And Clark's like, no, you're not. And this is what's ballsy. I don't know. I loved it. Jonathan's like, yeah, I'll do what I want. And I'm like, dude, your dad could literally slap your face off. Literally off.
with his pinky.
Your dad could literally, like, you should never talk back to your parents. We all did. And I would get smacked around some for it.
I did once.
But you're talking to Superman, who could literally go whack in your flesh, and everything would just go flying across the room. And then, Jonathan would be staring at him with like muscle and bone tissue, muscle tissue and bone before he died. So I'm not sure you should be talking back to Superman like that. But, I didn't think I'd like the family part of it with him and Lois having twins, but it's so good with the family dynamics and seeing Clark have to deal with that I think it's great. And then you've got the character, what's that guy's name that's following Clark around? Do you remember?
Well, that's you mean Captain Luthor?
Yeah, Captain Luthor. I'm bad with names.
He is.
Great with faces, bad with names. And I have an excuse. It's from doing comic conventions as a guest. I see lots of people, and I can recognize the person from show to show, but names, I get inundated with them.
And he killed a lot of brain cells.
Exactly. So Captain Luthor is from a different Earth. We found out before, not a spoiler. so he's trying to track down Superman. He gets to Smallville, and he sees Lois, and you find out something really major about him and his relationship with Lois on his Earth, which is just like jaw-dropping.
Didn't see that one
Didn't see
coming.
it
A
coming.
lot of times you can see things, they give hints, there's foreshadowing. Nope, this came out and you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it literally was. This mother in a previous episode that came to the Smallville Beacon newspaper to get Lois to investigate the disappearance of her son. All of a sudden, her son's back, and she's like, "No, just drop it. It's no big deal." And they're like, "Yeah, but still, he was kidnapped. No, he's back. Don't worry about it." And you find out this dude's got some powers, and then you do find out where these powers are coming from. You'll have to watch the episode.
It's really good.
But it's really good.
And it's a good fight scene. I mean, when Superman arrives.
Obviously, Superman arrives. So
and all I'm going to say is boom, boom, boom. We got some pretty decent flight and fight scenes. Let's put it that way.
Flight and fight.
Yep. And it was solid. And then at the very end, we're not going to tell you what, but right before the break, we're taking a little hiatus. Something happens with one of the sons, and you're like, whoa, didn't see that coming either.
Yeah,
and it's your little cliffhanger.
We see somebody from a previous episode confront Jordan, the superpowered son.
Yeah.
But once again, it was like, wow, I didn't expect that so soon, you could say.
So here's what I found interesting, and one of the things is, how good of a show is this? I've talked to even some of the guys at the comic shop. They're not watching it. I think they've just had enough of the CW type of Flash, the Arrowverse stuff.
Flash is still, to me at least, even though, okay, so my daughter and I watched The Flash. We watched the series premiere a few weeks ago. And to be honest, I haven't watched an episode since. We're going to binge watch it at the end of the season. But I'm just not. And part of the reason, too, is the season premiere, because of the length of time between the season finale last year and the season premiere, I wasn't totally bought into this storyline in the first place. The season premiere picked it up, didn't really pull me in with this whole, the female mirror master chick. And what they're doing with Iris. And I was just like, so we're just going to record it, and come the end of the season, we'll either decide to binge it or just be done with The Flash. I have a feeling next year could be the last year for The Flash. No inside knowledge. I just think it could be the last year because we're already year 7. These things, 8 years is a pretty good run. Supergirl's ending this year. I bailed off of that sinking ship. I think after season 2, season 3, because that show was preaching to me, and I'm not tuning into a superhero TV show to be preached to.
I like season 1, and season 1 was fantastic. Callista Flockhart, they did it. They set it up. It was very interesting. They changed some stuff.
They brought Linda Carter in as the president,
right?
And then it was all basically anti this and that. And I'm just like, guys, I don't need to be preached to from you. I'm out on Supergirl.
I am too.
I still like Legends. I know that's coming back, so I'll watch that. I stayed with Arrow to the end because they put on the final. They said, this is it. One more season. I don't know if I could have hung on if I didn't know that, but I knew that. So if they were to say right now there's one season left of The Flash, I can guarantee I would watch everything this season and next to finish it out. But
I didn't even start this season. I think I've reached my fill of The Flash, and I love The Flash. It was probably my favorite. And I don't want what I'm afraid is going to happen with all the CW stuff. Batwoman is a complete pile of flaming crap.
Batwoman's garbage. Watching Batwoman.
I'm telling you, I can't do it. I hated first season, and this new season, I'm completely done.
Don't forget, Dogecoin expert. Don't forget me when you're famous. Your PR getting a lot of traction lately. I hope so, man. I hope it is. That's what we like to hear.
We speak our minds, we're very nice, but we do speak our minds. And if we like something, we'll tell you, and we don't always agree. I mean, sometimes we'll have heated discussions about things.
Supergirl's hot, and it's also hot garbage. Supergirl, Melissa Benoist,
yeah,
very fine.
But
show garbage.
Season 1 was very well done. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was great. We got into season 2, and it started okay for the first one, and then literally it was just started in your face garbage, and I just don't need that.
I tried Batwoman. I think I watched the whole first season. I could not get into Ruby Rose's Batwoman. She just wasn't likable. It wasn't even really storyline stuff. I couldn't connect. She didn't come off as a likable character, and if I can't like the main character, I'm not going to watch it.
Right, and it was bad acting, and I know she can act because we've seen her act.
Oh yeah, we've seen her.
I don't think she liked the character. I don't think she liked the show.
She quit the show, from what I heard, because
it was too tough.
It was too tough. And look, I'm not going to bag on her for that. She comes from a movie background where it's like, film a movie over the course of 3 to 4 months, take a few months off, film another movie, whatever, or film a movie a year, whatever. Going into a 22-episode show where you're literally filming an episode a week for basically, 24, 25 weeks, it's a hell of a lot harder. But she quits. I would have recast her. I'm so tired of this bullshit where it's like, oh, we can't recast Katie Kane or Katie Wayne, whatever her name was, Katie Kane. I think is her name in the show. God forbid we recast her. No, we can't do that. We must respect her. Fuck that. She was on the show for a goddamn season. She doesn't own the character. I could get it if Grant Gustin left the Flash.
Now, nobody's going to watch it, though. I mean, even if they did recast it.
That's not true, because if they recast Ruby Rose with another actress who I might go, oh, I like her personality. She actually looks like she's enjoying this. I might have watched it.
Nope.
I gave it a chance with this new actress.
I did too.
They recast it with this black actress. I don't know her name. Once again, shitty with names.
That girl.
The only reason I remember Ruby Rose is because of the RR. So they recast it, at least with this actress who's playing Batwoman now, fills out the suit.
But the story and how she got it,
but the way she got the suit. I mean, look, I can suspend disbelief for superhero shows, but in the first episode, she's living in her van, and basically the plane crashes, and she goes to the wreckage of the plane, and she's like, "What's this?" And she opens up this case, and it's the Batwoman suit. She's like, "Ooh!" and takes it, and then she puts it on, and it fits, and she goes out and starts kicking ass. Just like, come on. And honestly, once again, it's one season. It's not like it's 8 seasons in and you lost your star.
So here's the bad news.
It's going to be canceled. That's not bad news.
It will be canceled.
Just not after this season.
After season 3.
Right.
Which means they've got to, which means they're going to fill useless stuff.
Well,
and when they cancel her, the show is canceled, but they're going to have the actress continue on as Batwoman.
Which might be a contractual thing.
Right. But she's going to make appearances now in other shows. What I do not want to see happen is Superman and Lois. That is so good. I do not want them to turn into Smallville or Arrow or Flash where, hey, we've got the new superhero of the month and we're going to have them debut on Superman and Lois.
Here's what I won't mind. I actually like it when they do, hey guys, no need to mince words. Batwoman is the worst comics TV series. We're not mincing words, brother. We're saying it like it is. We're slapping down. We're preaching it to you.
It is. It is the biggest.
No, I like it, and I missed it last year, and it was because of COVID. I like when the CW does their around November, December, 2-week crossover. Yeah. Where all the characters bounce into each other's show, and they do that big crossover event.
Yeah.
That I don't have a problem
with. Most of them have been pretty good.
I thought Crisis was good.
Yeah.
I've liked most of them, so I've got no problem with them doing those crossovers. But you're right, I don't really want to see, and if they don't do the crossover, look, if there's 22 episodes next year, because we're getting out of COVID. So if there's 22 episodes, everything gets back on track next year of Superman and Lois, and they don't do a crossover, I don't give a crap if Batwoman's in an episode or two, as long as it's in Metropolis or he goes to Gotham. If she comes to Smallville, that is not the tone. And Smallville's too. It's literally Smallville. It's named that for a reason. It's a small town. What the fuck is Batwoman going to do in Smallville? There's nothing to swing off of. The tallest building is like what 3 stories?
But now let's circle back around and we get back to the original point. The reason why Superman and Lois is good is they've got none of this garbage. It is fantastic writing, and it builds on every storyline. Every character gets a fantastic ratings. Check this out. Superman and Lois premiered at 1.71 million viewers. And then they did that, basically the little show afterwards on the opening weekend.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And it was good. And they got 1.3 million viewers for the after show. Now, each week, those numbers have been solid. It may have been up just a bit or down. It has been a solidly performing show. Flash, over the same period now, they're at 950,000 viewers. So that is almost double. Yeah. So Superman and Lois is outperforming Flash on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And almost double. And I'm like, well,
but I mean, it's not. I don't look at it as a fair comparison because the Flash has been on for 7 years.
Well, that was kind of going to be my point. But they're also established. But they even kicked off with the season premiere. Same thing happened to you. Happened to a lot of the fans. They watched it and went, you know what? This might be it.
It's not a strong enough villain. This whole mirror lady thing, because I don't know actually if she's another. Because I thought they already had a mirror master in the Flash. So that's why I don't know what this chick's villain's name is, but obviously, she has something to do with mirrors and stuff. And Iris is stuck in one, and I'm just like, I don't care.
Right.
Give me a cool villain. And even the teaser stuff, because we turn on Superman and watch it live, so we usually catch coming up next week on the Flash. So even though I didn't see the episode before, I see the coming up stuff, and that's why I haven't watched them, because none of the coming up stuff has pulled my interest in, but I don't want to delete them off the DVR in case we binge it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the CW, I was a big fan for a long time, and the CW stuff tends to have the teenage angst stuff ramped up, and Flash started out that way, and that's kind of what turned me off. Superman and Lois has a little of it, but it's very well done because it's based around the teenage children in the family.
Teenage kids, so it makes sense.
Right.
You can't do teen angst when it's like, aren't you guys in your 20s?
So again, Superman and Lois, what did you give it for a CGC?
Oh, this week?
Yep.
I mean, this week it's holding a steady, 9 for me. It really is. It's been a steady 9 across the board for me since it started. So.
And again, I think it was a 9.2. I'm going with a 9.2. I would have liked a little bit more of the fight to see an extended version, but I liked everything that was in there, although we disagreed about the flight scenario. We think Superman should have overtaken him. But the two big, whoa, what the hell just happened moments towards the end of the show, it's a cliffhanger, and it left me wanting to come back for more. So it's doing its job. I'm hooked.
So North Free asked, it's a good question. I haven't heard. I have a theory. Have either of you guys heard or know why they won't make a legitimate Batman series? So I'll throw my theory out. Dennis can throw his out. My theory is Batman has always been, since 1989, DC's tentpole movie franchise. You look at 1989, and then you had Batman 2 with the Penguin, then you had 3, then you had 4. Was there a 5th one or no? 2 Keatons.
Which one was Batman and Robin?
Wait. Do it by the actor. 2 Keatons of Kilmer, a Clooney, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
So they had 4 Batmans basically in a 10-year span. Since then, we had Nolan do 3 more Batmans, and then we've had him in Batman vs Superman and Justice League, and even a little appearance in Suicide Squad. So to me, Batman, I think Warner Brothers really looks at Batman as their movie guy above everything else, and is willing to let the TV division use the other toys in the toy box. But I don't think they want to give up Batman, because I think if they give up Batman for a weekly TV show, when they do a movie, it might hurt the movie. Now, my biggest beef with DC is the fact they just don't have an integrated universe between the TV shows and the movie. Because honestly, you know, Stephen Amell, if they ever did Arrow in movies, he should be Arrow. You know, when they announced Ezra Miller, that's his name, right?
Yep, Ezra Miller.
As the Flash, I was like, what the hell is wrong with Grant Gustin? If I was Grant Gustin, I'd be like, fuck you guys. Look at me. What am I doing over here? I've already been on, I think the series at that time was out for like 3 years.
But that's Warner Brothers' biggest mistake.
You know, and Warner Brothers just can't get their shit together to combine stuff as well as Marvel can. It's like Marvel's laying out the blueprint, you morons. Just follow it. So that, you know, that's my reasoning.
Huh. Well, I agree, but I'll expand on it. Batman is their premiere movie. That is it to a T. Notice though, when they've done shows, Batman the animated series. Now they can do animated.
Oh my God, they can do
that. Is hands down, and you know I'm an X-Men fan, and the X-Men from 90 still one of my favorites. But Batman the animated series is the pinnacle for like animated series. It was just, there's a reason why Conway is Batman in so many ways. That show showed that they can do a great Batman, but they will not do. But they will not do a live action Batman for the reason you mentioned. All right. Now, if you take a look, they did do the entire thing with Bruce Wayne as a kid, you know, and they're dealing with the background. They don't mind exploring potentially with Gotham.
Here's the funny thing, even in Batwoman this season, there's that one character in the show, the villain, that can change his face. You know, whatever. I can't remember his name. Shocking. But I also don't watch that show, so I got an excuse. But he can change his face. And he literally, they wanted to get into the Batcave or whatever, so they literally had him look like Bruce Wayne. So they have already cast an actor in Batwoman as Bruce Wayne. So you literally have Bruce Wayne now in the CW, but he'll never put the costume on, as far as I know. And in Titans on HBO, they've shown Batman, not that much, just a little bit. And, you know, I like the actor they have playing him. It's definitely more of a Dark Knight-ish type Batman, because this dude's easily pushing 60, I would say, in the Titans. But I think they just want to keep him for the movies. And, you know, I don't even think... You know, the original Batman TV show from '66 is so long ago, I don't even think there's even a worry of going, oh, we don't need that stink, because that show was so campy.
But it was great for the '60s.
It was great for the '60s. So I don't even think that's an issue.
It was Green Hornet for the '60s.
Right. But I agree. I would watch a good Batman show. If they could do a Batman show as well as they're doing Superman and Lois, I'd be all over it.
I would too, but I agree. That's why... One of the reasons why Warner Brothers right now, they've pretty much come out and said they're scared to do a Superman movie. After Justice League, which we all know we did the review on and liked it, now would be the time to get Henry Cavill to do a Superman
movie.
Man
of Steel 2.
It should be, even though I'm not the biggest Man of Steel 1 fan, I loved what they did with this. Now is the time. They won't pull the trigger because they don't know what to do with Superman. And the problem is they've just laid out the perfect ground rules for it, the plan. Yeah. Here's the schematic to making a good Superman, and you could do a lot with it, and they won't do it. AT&T has come in and fiddled. Not that they needed help fiddling with it, but they're all kind of jacked up over there. They don't know their butt from a hole in the ground, and they're letting all these opportunities fly out.
Talking about DC and decisions that I'm just like, what? So, you know, if you go to comic book news sites like CBR and stuff like that, they'll show solicitations for books, you know, because the new previews catalog just came out. So they'll be like, oh, here's all the June solicitations for DC or Marvel or whatever. Apparently, all DC books looks like they're heading towards $6.99. Or no,
$5.99.
$5.99. So
Yeah.
they're just getting rid of $3.99, going right by the $4.99. Because right now, books are like, I don't have the Detective in front of me, but
it's $3.99.
No, Detective was
Oh,
$4.99.
$4.99 for the new one. Yeah.
The new Detective was $4.99 because it has a lead Batman story and a backup Robin story. And that's what they were going to do. And then they were going to have another price point, I believe, of $3.99 just for single issue stuff. And then they were going to have $5.99 for basically a longer lead story and a longer backup story. But now they're just going, we're just busting out the $5.99. And it's just like, dude, seriously?
Yeah, that
is
just
it
made me
$5.99
question.
or is it $6.99?
Since we had talked about this, I was just curious because I actually didn't look at the price because
Which one is
at
it?
that point it's
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
It's
You know,
$3.99, right?
and if you missed it, go back $3.99.
Yeah.
Now again, if you look at the artwork and it's not color for $3.99, this is great, great art and stuff like that. I'm going to pay $3.99 for this type of stuff.
Check that.
You know, the Tarna, I'm pretty sure $3.99. So again, if you saw the reviews that I did on Tarna, you know, liking that artwork, the story I've enjoyed, and everything on it. This is $3.99, and it's a much better quality than the stuff DC's putting out, and Marvel for that matter. So if I'm going to spend $3.99, I again am leaning towards these independents because they're just putting out better stuff. If DC, and I pull back on DC anyway, Shazam would be one to pull me in. But if they're literally going to go to a $5.99 point, you'll never see me touch foot in the DC realm again. It's going to be fact. There's just not enough there for me to do it.
Let's see. North Free says WB can do alternate universe Batman just like Joker. You can also do a good Bat series without Batman. Did you ever see the Birds of Prey?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that. It was okay, but I mean, honestly, once again, you got to get me with the big guy first before you knock off stuff like Birds of Prey. I did want to touch on a couple other news things that we saw. Let me pull up the tab. I'm not sharing screen for it. It's not worth it. So Black Adam looks like it's shaping up to be a really good movie. Pierce Brosnan joins Black Adam as Justice Society hero Dr. Fate. I've liked Pierce Brosnan. I've always liked Pierce Brosnan. So I think that's pretty cool, bringing him in as Dr. Fate. You got Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Obviously, The Rock is Black Adam. I think because The Rock's attached to it, he's getting these good names, and they're going to, you know, he's probably executive producing it, so he's not going to take a shit and The Rock is not looking to put out a garbage movie.
And North Free, just so you know, I did like Birds of Prey, but I watched that specifically because Dina Meyer, she's kind of right up there for me. So I watched the show because of her, you know, because Starship Troopers. And she's the reason I watched it. I actually wish it would have lasted longer than the 14 episodes. I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. But anyway, you were mentioning Birds of Prey, Dina Meyer.
Another news thing, it looks like WandaVision's Evan Peters, or also known as Quicksilver, is going to be playing Jeffrey Dahmer in a Netflix series. I don't know about you. I don't know what it is about serial killer stuff. I listen to serial killer podcast stuff. I love documentaries on Netflix about these nut jobs. I will watch that because I like that actor. And Jeffrey Dahmer's a weirdo.
He's a Wisconsin boy, so we all know the history of it because I'm from Wisconsin, and a lot of serial killers are. But if you've seen pictures of Jeffrey Dahmer, and we grew up dealing with the Jeffrey Dahmer when I lived up there, and I would have never thought about this, but he does kind of look like, and I'm like, with just a little bit of makeup, glasses, I'm like, oh, that's almost kind of scary. When we found that out today, I'm like, that's actually a hell of a pick. And, you know, American Horror Story, you know, he was really good in that, and he can play these really creepy weirdos. I mean, I think it's potentially a really good casting job.
Another thing that I was originally excited for, and then I'm now not excited for. If you guys remember the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, I believe there were 2 of them.
First one was great. Second one was okay.
First one was great. Second one was just okay, but I like the idea behind it.
Yep.
So I read, oh, Disney to reimagine National Treasure. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I like National Treasure. So it's kind of like going to a strip club and then walking in and you're just being titillated by ugly chicks. Because to reimagine National Treasure as a TV series to explore issues of identity, community, historical authorship, and patriotism. Okay, I guess.
Now they had me excited when I heard they were going to do a TV show on it. I was like, oh,
right. Like
and
walking into a strip club,
again,
expecting hot chicks, and then you got the chubby chicks dancing in front of you.
Hey, I don't have a problem with that.
Large chubby chicks?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on what they look like. You know, God, you always take it to that next level. Always take it to that next level.
Let me tell you, here's a side tangent of the story. So 20-some years ago, I helped a buddy of mine move from Syracuse to Florida. I was already living in Florida. He flew me up because the company was paying for the move, and we drove down. And once we hit 95, if you've driven 95 south or north, you'll see risque cafes, right?
Okay.
And I was always curious when I used to make the drive from Florida to Maryland when I lived there in the 90s before I was married. What the hell's a risque cafe? So my buddy and I were like, well, let's find out. So we stopped in for breakfast because it was like 8 a.m. and they're open 24/7. So we got seated and our waitress was naked. You know, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But what I did have a problem with is the fact that the food wasn't bad. I got eggs and pancakes, but every time she came to the table, I thought of cottage cheese. That's all I'm saying.
Damn, man.
That's all I'm saying.
Damn, I'm glad we ate. By the way, we ate at Goodwurst tonight, just for anybody who comes to Charlotte. It is a bratwurst heaven, and I got a jalapeno bratwurst at Goodwurst with schnitzel fries. Telling you, it wound up being really good. And I'm glad I ate before Andy's story because I probably wouldn't be eating right now.
And we're gonna end the show.
Well, I was just gonna finish, but the issue is the moment they start talking, we start talking about issues of identity and issues of community and patriotism, and it's Disney doing it. And I already went,
like,
oh crap! It's 1619 all over.
Yeah,
again.
I like patriotism.
That's what they're gonna do.
But National Treasure is going to do the 1619 project, I think. Oh,
yeah, it's going to be. I was excited until I found that out. Now I think it's just going to be a pile of trash.
And then I see this headline and I just want to throw up. Well, every time I hear this guy's name, I do. Michael Moore claims mass shootings are as American as apple pie. Now, maybe he thinks that because of how much apple pie he eats, but no, you're just being a dumbass. That is such a troll thing to say. It's not even funny. Michael Moore is just, I don't understand. You know, he does that. He's just an asshole.
He's basically clickbait for TV. Yeah. And that's all he is. National Treasure was great TV series. As long as they have great detective work, but who could replace Nick Cage? Have a great night.
You have a great night. Well, I can already tell you the other thing I read is they're going to replace that character with a female lead. Once again, I don't have a problem with female leads, but why don't you just create something for a female lead, you know, totally brand new, and don't even call it National Treasure for that matter. That's the thing. So anyhow, that was our show.
It was, and in case you missed our reviews and all the new stuff, go back and watch the beginning and look for some of the YouTube shorts I'm going to be putting out and the quick flips this week on all the great new stuff that we picked up.
That's right. Hit the like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live.
And then
Friday's a special show because I won't be here, so it'll be Dennis flying solo. I'm scared we're going to lose the few subscribers we have. No, I'm not.
That's it. That's it.
We're going to gain some. Dennis is going to gain it. I'm going to come back and be like, 2,000 subscribers.
I
What
think
the Jesus?
I think I'm probably going to do some comic reviews and open it up.
Are you drinking alone?
Friday night is, well, I may be drinking alone because we picked up some really good beer. I did get Andy got the Chinook beer today, but I think I'm going to wait for that until Andy gets back and we can.
You have to.
We can do it. But I did pick up some good beer. The problem is Friday night is this is a really bad Friday night. The 4 guys that I kind of had lined up, everybody's working and already gone. And I'm like, wow, this was a really bad one. So I could be solo, or I may have a guest artist. I've got somebody in mind that I'm going to try and hit up. So we'll see what we wind up doing. But either way, we're going to have lots of stuff to discuss Friday night. But it'll just be Dennis.
That's right.
The D Show.
And then Monday night, we have guest artists, or our interview show is with great comic creator David Williams. He's been in the business, I believe, for as long as I have, so about 30 years. He's worked on a ton of books. He's great action style. He's just a sweetheart of a guy. Fantastic artist. David Williams will be joining us Monday night, so tune in for that. And First Man, once again, the books are going out. I'm taking them to the post office every day.
If you saw our live video in the middle of the day here for a little bit,
go back and watch it.
We were working hard, so you can leave a few comments.
That's right. So grab a copy of First Man. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you Monday. And this guy is going to entertain you on Friday.
Yep.
So until then, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.